Good afternoon to all of our friends. This is Jeremiah Parks here from American Baptist College, where we are streaming live from. Thank you so much for joining here for another afternoon of What's the 411 at American Baptist College. Once again, thank you all so much for taking this time out and spending time with us. If you would like to be able to access more information about American Baptist College, you can follow us on our Facebook page and like us at and find us at American Baptist College. Or we also ask that you subscribe to our YouTube channel. And you can find us again under American Baptist College. As well as if you're looking for more information about American Baptist College, please follow us at www.abcnash.edu. There you can find under the admissions tab more information and other, I'm sure, videos such as perhaps even today on more information of what the wonderful American Baptist College has to offer. We're grateful to have Professor Paula Farmer with us again this afternoon. Professor Farmer gives leadership to our entrepreneurial leadership program here specifically at American Baptist College. Here she will moderate as well as introduce our special guests on this afternoon. So welcome, Professor Farmer, and feel free to take it away.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I appreciate the opportunity just to share on today. I am Paula Farmer. One of the things that I do at American Baptist College is as a professor in entrepreneurial leadership. I also work with Nicole White. I am the director of the Career Development Center. She and I do a lot of work with the students. So today I have with me one of the most recent graduates, Mr. Daryll Nolan, and he and I are going to have some conversations around what his experience was like, specifically to the Career Development Center. So Mr. Nolan, thank you so much and welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Appreciate that. So I want to ask you just a few questions and have some dialogue. We know we have a lot of people looking, people who are still trying to decide where they're going to college, traditional or non-traditional students. So I just have a few questions for you, and maybe you would help enlighten some people who are trying to make that decision. And maybe by the end of our interview or the end of our time together, they would have decided that American Baptist College is where they would like to come.
Absolutely, I'm all for it.
Yeah, so, you know, we all have a story and we all have our points of references, particularly when it comes to our college experiences. I know that you were very active at American Baptist College. And so if you would not mind sharing with the audience, how did you actually get to American Baptist College? Was it on your list? Did somebody refer you? How did that happen?
So I am born and raised here in Nashville, Tennessee, and I'm always driven by, as a kid, always driven by American Baptist College, but I just never knew where it was. I used to see the sign on the highways. He says American Baptist College, exit 87. But I was like, where is this college? I don't know where it is. And so growing up, my home church pastor is actually a graduate of American Baptist College. And so he always used to tell me, I say, oh, you know, I wanted to be a preacher when I grow up. And he used to always tell me, you're going to go to American Baptist College. I was like, okay, I'm going to go to American Baptist College. Now, of course, being in when I got to high school, I did apply for other colleges and stuff like that. Sure. And so I applied to American Baptist College and got accepted into American Baptist College. And I was like, okay, I finally get to know where this school is in Nashville. And so if it wasn't for my pastor, for sure, I really would have probably not been at ABC. So I'm very thankful for the fact that my home church pastor was definitely the person who enlightened me more about American Baptist College and the things that they have to offer, because he knew I'm not a person who likes big crowds in a sense. It's like when it comes to education, he knew that I like to have that one-on-one interaction. So he said, yeah, you are going to American Baptist College. I know for sure you are going to excel there.
Well, we're grateful to your pastor for leading you this way, and we're also grateful to you for saying yes. So along those same lines, I know you just kind of alluded to the fact that you like a smaller environment. If you would share with us, I would think that's one of the things that was most appealing, but share with us what was most appealing, or a couple of three things that were most appealing for you to make that final decision and say, yes, this is the place that I'm not only trying to get to, but once you got here, share with us, like, yeah, what made it feel like this is home to me and this is the best choice for a school for me?
Okay. So as I said, like I love the one-on-one interaction. My smallest class at ABC was 7 students, and I was like, wait a minute, 7? This is amazing. I can actually talk to my teachers. They know me by my name. I'm not just a number in the system. Like they actually know my first and last name. They know if I don't come to class. If I didn't come to class, they would come knock on my room door to make sure I got to class. Like it
Right.
was those things that definitely like made sure that I loved American Baptist College, but it was also the family feel.
Mm,
When I came to the campus and I toured the campus, I could definitely tell there was a sense of family.
yeah.
And I grew up in a big family. I'm the middle child of 13 siblings. And so family is important. I know family is important to us. And so when I got to ABC and I moved into Lafayette Hall and I met my roommates for the first time, we instantly clicked and it was like we became family. And that's one thing about ABC. And it's not just with the students, but also with the faculty and staff. You have a sense of family as well. It's like they're your parents away from home, or that auntie who you know is going to get you if you don't do right in school, or that uncle who's going, like, all right, now, come on, you got to do better than that, nephew. You know, like that feel. And so it just, that was really the thing that like drove it home for me, was the fact that we were a huge family, and no matter what, if anything happened, I know for sure I could count on my family to ensure that I was successful at ABC.
Yeah, that's good. And that's very important, especially if Nashville is not your home. Even if Nashville is your home,
Absolutely.
but, especially when
Absolutely.
Nashville is not your home, that's very, very important. I know too, as a student, as many students did, but as a student, I know that you had the opportunity to work as an intern or a student worker there on campus. Tell us about that a little bit, and how did you engage the Career Development Center to help support you in that?
Okay. So yes. So when I first started, when I became an intern at American Baptist College, I started off in the communications department. And I would help like make flyers, help with marketing and all that good type of stuff. And I will say that it was a very richful experience for me, as an individual, and then being able to engage with the Career Development Center. And so before I even got to ABC or got to college in Imperial, I didn't even know what a Career Development Center was. I was like, we have a career, what's a Career Development Center? Like, why would I need this? Like, I can go find my own job. But the Career Development Center like definitely helped me, because I actually had to apply for the job. The Career Development Center helped me with my application. It helped me with my resume. The Career Development Center basically walked me down the path that I thought I knew. And
Mm.
so I was very thankful for the fact that the Career Development Center definitely, as my mom says, held me by my hand and walked me down the sidewalk to ensure that I got what I needed. And because of the Career Development Center, I did eventually get the internship on campus, and I was able to work in started off in the communications department, and I worked my way over to the IT department.
Yeah, I remember well. You were not only a good student, you were also a good intern. Remember that well. So, along those same lines, in each opportunity that we have, or each stage in our career, there are things that we learn. Tell us a little bit about the things that you learned, particularly since you didn't just stay in one position. You had an opportunity to experience different departments while you were a student. So that was a combination of a lot, right? First of all, you have your family, on
Mm-hmm.
staff, then you're a student. That's another kind of relationship. And then your relationship in the different jobs. So what were some of the things that you learned?
So one thing that I definitely learned was time management. And that for sure has helped me in the very, very long run. I'm the person, as I said, that's always tardy for the party. I'm going to show up late. And, you can just guarantee it. But having the job, even though, as I said, ABC, we're a family, they still hold you accountable. And I love the fact that even if I showed up 20 minutes late to work, my boss is like, okay, you 20 minutes late today, that's not going on your time sheet. And I'm like, wait, what? I was just 20 minutes late. And from that moment on, I knew that being on time is what it was the norm at ABC. And that really, it became to the point where we had to be there early. So to be early is to be on time, and to be on time is to be late.
Right.
And that's what I got taught. So that has always stuck in my mind, to the point where any job would tell you now, if you tell me I got to be there at 7 o'clock, I'm there at 6:45, because I want to make sure that I am definitely on time. So that's definitely one of the daily learning experiences that I have. And then I also learned that it's okay sometimes to mess up as well. I just because I've always thought that you have to be on point at all times, but we're human. You're gonna mess up sometimes, and it's okay, to mess up. Just don't allow that mess up to set you back.
That's good. Time management and knowing that it's not the end of the world if you mess up. That's really, really good. I don't know if you had a favorite job there, but if you could kind of share if you had or if not the favorite, right? What was the most, which one gave you the most experience? And I think that's important because for those who are watching, again, a lot of times, when you get a job, especially as a college student, sometimes you have to leave the campus. So you talk about time management. Now you have to plan your classes around when you have to be at work, right? Or vice versa. So talk to us about, some of that and why the position that you liked the most or learned the most from was really valuable for you, even in your career now.
Okay. So, so definitely the job with the communications department, what I would have to say is the one that I really benefited from the most. Because now currently, even though I do have a typical 9 to 5, I also own my own marketing business. And so that was a way for me to learn how to manage my time, how to manage my clients, how to do everything the correct way. Sitting there and learning about how a college does things. Okay, cool. This is unique of how they brand it this way and how we brand it this way. That definitely helped me to the point now where in my business, I've taken some of the knowledge. Now I'm not taking it. I'm just borrowing it for a little time from ABC, but I was able to take some of that knowledge and actually apply it to my business and to where now my business is booming and thriving because of the things that I learned as an intern at American Baptist College. So that is definitely it.
That's very good. Also, I'm sure that's the bulk of it, but also a little shameless plug here, another shameless plug for American Baptist College. I also remember you being a student in some of our entrepreneurial leadership classes. And so hopefully that was a part of your journey as well.
Oh, yes, definitely. I remember the class, what was the class? Entrepreneurial leadership, and we had to write a book. And I think that is what really opened my eyes because the book that I wrote was called Millennial Entrepreneurship. And so the question that I was always being asked was, how can this benefit someone else? How can the book that I'm writing and the information that I'm relaying benefit to a millennial who wants to start a business? When you look all around the world today, everybody, millennials are starting a business left and right. But what can I say that will help millennials go further than what they already know? And so definitely with the entrepreneur leadership class, and then also learning in that class, I believe if I'm correct, that's the class we had all the guest speakers. They used to come in, they used to share tidbits and everything about their business. And I'm just sitting here, I'm like, wow, I'm meeting some of the best people in their respective fields. I'm meeting some of the best people ever. And they're coming here to my small school to talk to me about how they were able to be successful and move on in the world. That was just, for me, it was jaw dropping. I still have my notes to this day from some of the classes. And I actually go back sometimes and I read the notes. I'm like, okay, yeah, Daryll, you forgot to do this with this client. Maybe you can do it next time with this client because of the things that I've learned from those guest speakers in class.
Yeah, it was pretty amazing. It was pretty amazing. And with the book, to tie that together, the book was pretty amazing. Also, one of the things that it taught, and one of the reasons why we actually made that the project for that class was because it taught each student how to really appreciate and go through the process. Mm-hmm. I know writing a book is different than running a business, but it deals with processes, right? Yeah, right. That was pretty amazing. One of my favorite leaders in the world, I have several, but one of them is Oprah Winfrey, and she has a quote, and it says, "Be thankful for what you have. You'll end up having more. If you concentrate on what you don't have, you will never, ever have enough." And so as you reflect back on your time as an intern and as a student, what can you share to encourage other students to be thankful for what they have? Because, I've been there, done that, but sometimes as a student, it seems so overwhelming and challenging I have this work that I have to do as a student, and then I have this job because I need to have that other source of income. So what would you share regarding that?
I would definitely say be thankful for the people who hold you accountable. Because if you are not well, I'm also going to say just be thankful in general, but specifically for those that hold you accountable and those who consider you trustworthy, because that's going to benefit you in the long run. Having the trust of the people who hold you accountable can take you farther than you can ever imagine. Like, for example, I'll never forget when I was at ABC, the dean of students at the time was currently Dr. LaShante Walker. And because of her holding me accountable, I was able to work for a amazing job for 2.5 years that I never would have thought that I would have been able to do ever in my life. And it's just like, all because I was held accountable and because I listened and I never took for granted what was being taught to me. And I took the criticism and I didn't use it to set me back. I used it to push me forward. Yeah. And taking all of that in and then just being considered trustworthy and everything, I'm going to tell every student, if you come to American Baptist College, do not take that for granted at all. Love those relationships that you have, because the people at American Baptist College will put you in places that you would have never thought you would have ever imagined. I would have thought the middle child of 13 kids would be where I am today because of American Baptist College, ever.
Talk about gratitude, right? And it goes back to what you said earlier about being on a small campus and being able to have that kind of relationship with the faculty, with the staff, with people, because everybody considers all the students, we consider all the students to be, our kids. Right. And not in a demeaning way, but in a responsible way, because we want to see everybody that comes there. Again, traditional or non-traditional students. Some of our students aren't, in their 20s or whatever, but we really take it seriously, and we really do give thought to holding them accountable and making sure that they see the possibilities. So thank you for sharing that. What would you say your thoughts are around managing your career experiences on paper? What I'm talking about, of course, is a resume, and how sometimes I've seen this where students don't really think they need a resume until they need one, right? Man, I got this opportunity for this job. But talk to us about the importance of having a resume before you need one.
So having a resume is very important. As I said, when I came to American Baptist College, I just thought that, hey, I don't need no resume. I can do whatever I want. Just get in here, get this job, cool. But that was not the case. As I said, my mom, her saying is, that somebody had to take me by my hand and walk me down the sidewalk. One of those processes was doing a resume. And I never would have thought a resume would take you as far as it would, because I was like, okay, it's just a simple piece of paper. I'm listing what I've done on this piece of paper. I can say out of my mouth what I've done. But it took me a while to realize that on paper, it's more trustworthy than your word of mouth. And I say that because so I work here at Tennessee State University, and I actually had the opportunity to work in the Career Development Center. And I got to realize, okay, now I see why they say have a resume, because employers want to see your resume. They want to see what you have done, what you did, how you did it, when did you do it, where did you do it. They're going to ask all of those questions. And we as people, sometimes we forget what we've done. That's right. So having it on paper is definitely, as I say, a plus for a person, because they can go back, you can track it, you will never forget it, and it's just beneficial in the long run.
It's a good tool to have. And so
it is.
One of the things we did too in the Career Development Center, I'm sure you'll remember this because I remember you being in several of those, is the workshops that we had. Workshops not only around resume writing, but like you said, managing your time and communication and all those types of things. And even how in those settings, we brought in guest speakers and people who could actually pour into us and things of that nature. So if you could talk to us a little bit about your involvement in some of those workshops and why you think it was a good use of time. Because let's face it, again, as students, sometimes students, they have their schedule with their classes, right? And if they have a job on or off campus, sometimes they may think, well, I don't need to go to that event that the Career Development Center is holding. I could just skip it. I don't need it. But what would you say to encourage them to create some time in their schedule for things like that?
I would say definitely go to every workshop that you can go to with the Career Development Center. it's mind blowing in those workshops of what you can learn. Again, as I said before, I came to ABC, I didn't know anything. So when I came to the career development, when I came to one of the workshops, I think one of them was Dress for Success. Now, everybody knows that ABC, we can dress. We can pull out our good 3-piece suits, and we can pull out our nice fine dresses and pearls, and we can look good. But sometimes all that's not called for a job interview.
Right.
Sometimes all you need is just a blazer, some khakis, and a nice dress button-down shirt. I learned that for every area of work, there's a different type of style that they're looking for when you go apply for jobs.
Right.
And so I definitely would have never known that. And to be quite frank, I would have never known what business casual was until I went to that. Because I was like, business casual? There's no such thing as business casual. It's either business, casual. You can't mix the two. So I got to learn what business casual was in that workshop. And so definitely those workshops definitely did help, especially again with the time management, having people come in. And like, I think the one that got me is when the gentleman came in and he asked us about our schedule. And then everybody was like, so his question at the end was, so what's your excuse as to why you can't do what you want to do? And it took me for a minute, because I was like, wait a minute, I just told you my schedule. What do you mean? And so he took my schedule that I wrote down that day, and he actually plugged in. He was like, well, you have 15 minutes right here to do something. You have an hour here to do something. You have 45 minutes here to do something. Why don't you make that time valuable? And from that moment, I was like, okay, I need to come back to every session that the Career Development Center has with workshops, because it will definitely help me.
Yeah, you said so many things that are so helpful, but all of those things are very important because, at any given moment, we have a system in place where prospective employers can connect with us. But at any given time, because we are a small college and just about everybody on the campus is, connected to someone in Nashville, we know how much Nashville is growing and all those kinds of things. So at any given time, we get phone calls saying, hey, we need a student, because when HBCU, we're looking for a student who can do X, Y, and Z, and we'd like to partner with you. And so having those workshops and making sure the students have a career development plan and resumes and all that is really critical, because you never know at any given moment you'll be presented with that opportunity and you have to hit the ground running, right?
You're right about it. You're right about it. Like, for example, we've had times where in the workshops, people have been offered jobs on the spot in the workshops. So like, right. You never know.
That's true. It has happened, hasn't it?
It has.
Yeah, it's a good thing too. I absolutely love it. Let's see. We try to support the students and everything that they do, not just the Career Development Center, but across the campus. But we try to support the students. We try to help them with the tools that they need and all those kinds of things. When it comes to career development plans, personal development plans, we even provide coaching. What would you identify as your most critical or most powerful takeaways from any of that? It could be from the workshops, it could be from some of the coaching that you receive, but whatever it's from, what would you say was some of the most critical? Like, if I don't share anything else with these folks today, you have to know this.
Okay. So if that's the case, I would say, don't be afraid to ask questions, because those questions can lead you to the answers that you definitely need, and it can open up so many doors that you would have thought never could have been opened if you don't ask the question. And as everybody knows, as a loudmouth person that I am on campus, I kind of really didn't like to ask questions, because I was afraid as if I was going to be wrong, or if the question sounded crazy or anything. And so I would tell somebody to never be afraid to ask the question, because asking the questions that you have could open that door for you to make that 6-figure job.
Yeah.
It can open the door to having a mentor, one of the best people to mentor you ever in the world, that can really open up another door to where you don't have to work for anybody else anymore.
Right.
So I would definitely tell anybody to always, always, always ask those questions, and don't be scared to ask them at all.
That's good. That's important. That's important in the classroom. That's important, you know, particularly with the Career Development Center. I know sometimes when we're engaging with students, like you said, sometimes you just don't know what you don't know. And I know a lot of times the information can be a little bit overwhelming because we do have a lot of information to share. But one of the things that we really, really encourage the students to do is to ask questions. And if you don't understand, just say, you know, you don't understand. And so one of the ways we do that, of course, is in our coaching. And we'll check and say, okay, what I just shared with you, what did you hear me say, and things of that nature, right? Because we want to make sure that when they leave, they have, you know, everything that they need to be successful for that particular time. So one of the last things I want to wrap up with is something that you alluded to earlier, and how the dress is important. That's one of the things that we definitely have conversations about. Even on campus, we, you know, don't want the students to think that just because you're still here on campus and your job is here on campus doesn't mean you could just run to your room and throw on anything. Is very important. And today, in the day of COVID, right, and a lot of people are working behind the computer. But if you could just kind of share, because I like your shirt, I like what you have on today, but just even in this, you know, time that we're in, it's still important to remember the dress code and to remember that that is important if you're behind a computer screen or not. So kind of talk about what your experience has been with that.
So my experience with that, I will never forget my freshman year at ABC. I used to think that, oh, I can just go to class in some sweatpants, a t-shirt, with my slides on, and go to class and be relaxed, call it a day. That was not happening. My professor told me, no, if you're going to come to my class, you're going to look like you want this degree. You're going to look like you have this degree before you even have it. You're going to look like you are the educated person that I know you are. So she makes me turn right on back around and go change my clothes and then come back to class and learn. And I never understood why, but it wasn't until later on that the reason why is because when you feel dressed up, when you're dressed up, you feel a lot better about yourself.
Yes.
You feel more connected to what's going on. You know, like, oh, I feel good today. I have a good day. Let me take these notes down. I'm paying attention more. Like dressing the part is always an amazing thing. And for example, here at work, everybody knows me. I'm going to put on a nice suit. I'm going to, you know, look the part because they think I'm a student as it is here at TSU, but I'm not a student. So I have to dress up. And when they see me dress up, they're like, wow, you really clean up. They're like, where did you learn this? Where did you learn how to, if you have a pen, which side it should be on? Or if you have a name tag, for example, I learned this at American Baptist College, and I was teaching students here at TSU for our career fair. When you shake a person's hand and you have on a name tag, your name tag always goes on the side of which hand you're shaking. Because when they shake your hand, they automatically look right at your name tag before they look at your face. They have to go all the way up. Yeah. And so learning that, I was like, okay, that's amazing. Like, and then with the dress, the people will point out like, that man is dressed, or that young lady is dressed, and she looks like she knows what to do. Let me go talk to her. Right. I might just have to offer her a job simply because of how she's dressed.
Right.
And so I would definitely say, even now today in COVID, I know there are people who are like dress from the top up sometimes, and they just have on like some gym shorts or whatever. That's not the case, because I always have in the back of my mind my professor saying, you better have some clothes on and you better look the part before you even get on this Zoom call. That's like, you know, so I will always definitely say, please make sure that you are dressed the part, because that can be also your next opportunity as well to a job as well.
That's very important. And that's very critical. And again, sometimes it happens just like that. Thank you so much for being willing to engage in the conversation with us. We covered so much today. We talked a little bit about entrepreneurial leadership and how that's one of the most amazing careers and classes that we offer at ABC. But we offer so much more, right? We have music program, we have theology, we have general study, we have so many more things for people to explore. We also talked about career services development and how that is a plus for students, and not just those students who work on campus, but we are there to provide support for absolutely any student, and even for the staff and the faculty, if that's something that they would like. Because as you said, we have some great speakers to come come to the Career Development Center. We have great speakers to come to entrepreneurial leadership. And so even across campus, we're always hosting some amazing programs. So we talked about that, and we talked about the fact that you have to always dress for success. So thank you so much for being so willing to share your experience and just to motivate others to know that American Baptist College can be their choice. It's a great campus. We have some great programs, and we do some absolutely phenomenal things. So Mr. Nolan, thank you so much. And I'm going to pitch it now to Mr. Parks.
Thank you so much, Ms. Farmer. Once again, as you all who are listening heard, again, one of the wonderful things about American Baptist College is it doesn't just educate you academically, kind of teaches you a lot about life and how life is about choices. And it's kind of up to you to make the best choice. And so as we think about a fresh start, I encourage any student who perhaps are looking to apply perhaps for the spring semester to make American Baptist College your fresh start. You can apply via our website and apply now again at www.abc-edu, or you can feel free to apply online, or you can even call our office at 615-687-6907. Once again, thank you all for participating. Thank you again, Professor Farmer, Mr. Nolan, for participating as well. And we'll see you once again on next week as we seek to give more of the 411 about American Baptist College. Thank you so much. I hope you all have a great rest of your day.